Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. This is our 29th Celebration of Youth Essay Contest celebration. So congratulations to all of you winners. Congratulations to the parents. Congratulations to the teachers. Thank you. We couldn't do this without the work of all of our assistants. They start working with us like a month and a half ago. They come to our house. They help prepare things. They make the food. They make sure that all the printing gets done, the flowers, everything. So without them, we couldn't be doing this contest. And from the bottom of my heart and Dodie's heart, I thank you all. I also want to thank DKN, the District Knowledge Network, for coming today to video the stories of these young winners. Our ceremony is student-focused. We want to give our best attention to them as they read. If there's a young one in the audience who cries, or somebody needs to have a conversation on your cell phone, we ask that you take it into one of the rooms across the hall until you're quiet, and then come back, okay? Is that cool? Also, it's a good time to put your cell phones on vibrate. I know that this is our photography unit in this generation, so we understand that. Please take as many pictures and videos as you want, but put it on vibrate, okay? Let's see. Oh yeah, if you get some really good pictures, send them to us at Global Harmony. My wife likes to have a lot of pictures. She put that in here. So in a few minutes, what we're going to do is we'll have the 14 winners read their essays. They're award-winning essays. And the theme this year is, just to let you know, is having a better world begins with each of us. Write an essay about a situation in your own life where you want things to be different than they are now. What is one small action you can do on a consistent basis that would make the situation better for you and perhaps for those around you as well? Why would you choose this action? And what is the outcome or the result that you want? And the students, their stories over the years have been very moving, very varied in many ways. Some are really funny, some are really heart-rendering. So we just asked you to listen with respect. After the winners read their essays, then we have the honorable mentions. And the honorable mentions will be called up. They'll be given a packet one by one. Inside the packet will be a check. And there'll be some congratulatory marks that people from around the world have sent to all of you. And there'll be a program for you also, and other little things. And before I bring up my wife, I do want to write two notes from people who heard about your success. And like I said, these copies are in your packet, and they're good to frame. We try to put it on really nice paper. And I'm going to just read excerpts. And this started off, dear students. Young Americans like you help our nation to be so special. This honor is a testament to your creativity and dedication, and your hard work is truly paying off. As you continue to learn and grow, I hope the skills that helped you succeed in this contest will push you to even greater heights, and that you will use your gifts to build a country that is worthy of your boundless promise. And that is sincerely, Michelle Obama. So, pretty cool. Another one is from, I salute you for your achievement in this thought-provoking contest. This gentleman goes on to say, and my advice to you is to enjoy your time in school. Learn as much as you can. Each one of you is needed to make the world a healthier, kinder, better place for everyone. With warmest regards, that's General Colin Powell. So, yeah, people are paying attention to this contest. They've been doing it for 29 years. I'll be reading a couple more later on, but for right now, the driving force behind all of this is my wonderful wife. We've been married almost 40 years. This contest is going into its 29th, next year's 30th. So most of my life is spent helping her do this kind of thing. So I'd like to introduce my wonderful wife, Dorothea.
Hi, welcome. I feel so blessed and happy to be here with you. And I want to thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing what you needed to do to get yourself here today, and for letting us come together as a community. Really, it took all of us made this happen. It took all of us working together to be here at this time and this day and this moment to honor 35 students in the District of Columbia. And these aren't just any students, in my opinion. Yes, they wrote prize-winning essays, but they are determined, they're big-hearted, they are looking to find their next steps in some difficult situations. And it's not just that they're looking to find their own way, their own next steps, they're looking out for those with them, that are in their life with them. Students, you're really remarkable. So thank you for entering this contest. Thank you for writing your essays. I think that you're remarkable people, and I thank you for writing your essays, but really more than that, I thank you for the kind and wise human beings you already are. So to everybody in the room, we appreciate your trust and support, because without that, the Celebration of Youth Essay Contest would not happen. And it's really work that's dear to my own heart. So thank you for your participation. One other thing about, to the writers, to the winners, and I consider all of you winners honorable mentions, and the students who will be reading your winning essays. I want you to know that you captured our hearts. You got our attention with your essay, but you also captured our hearts. And that's a lot of what this essay contest is about. Yes, we support technical writing skills. We do want that. We like good writing. But we also really value authentic expression. We all have to have insight into our life. We have to have awareness in order to be the best person we can be on the planet. And goodness knows our world needs your wisdom. It needs your insight. You're needed. So I really admire you for finding your way in difficult situations. So it's a rare privilege for us, the audience, to hear the private thoughts and the feelings and the stories of these young people. And while they're proud of their success, and rightly so, it can be a nervous and a vulnerable moment for many of them. I mean, they're reading their own words to an audience, and they don't know everybody in the audience. So what we want to do is really support them. I'm asking for your help to make sure that everyone has a really good experience today. And as Jim mentioned, we can do that by giving our attention. We can be good listeners. We can open our hearts, and just whatever you can be and do your best self to receive the gift that we're being given. Because the whole bottom line about this contest is, it's really about hearing their wisdom and supporting the students in their own expression. And that's what today is about. This is their platform. So in just a minute, I'm going to bring up the first winner, or a winner. I'm going to bring up a winner from the grades 4 to 6 division. But to the students who are reading your essays, I just want to ask you something. When you finish reading your essay on stage, stay here, because one of the assistants will come deliver a packet. So just stay here until you get your packet, okay? So we're going to begin. And please help me welcome to the stage a winner in the grades 4 to 6 division. She's in the 5th grade at Langdon Elementary, and she entered independently. Last year, her sister was a winner, and this year, they must have good writing genes in that family. So please join me in welcoming Anna Potter.
Good morning. I didn't think I would be first. Okay. Do you think that testing is more important than learning? I do not. But at my school, it seems like just about all we do is testing. I feel like this needs to be changed. I think that because first, I'm not learning a lot. Second, testing makes my peers rude and annoyed. And third, it makes my teacher frustrated. One thing that I can do to help my school in this situation is write a letter to the chancellor explaining my problem and how it's affecting me. I would do that because the chancellor is in charge of the schools, so he will have the power to change how much we test. Also, I could talk to my teacher about doing independent projects on something we are interested in so that we can learn more. I'm going to do these things because the problem does not only affect me as a student, but the whole school body. Some things that I'm doing to help me not fall behind in my learning include finishing my homework every day, being in a play to help my reading and vocabulary, and reading advanced books and challenging myself to ask questions about them. Also, my family reads and studies the Bible together, so that helps me in my comprehension. I feel that because I am doing these things, I'm moving ahead in my education since I am learning at home and other places. School is not the only place you can learn. I want school to be a place where I can learn and not have to take tests every other day. I want the chancellor to read my letter and reduce the amounts of tests we take. I hope that my classmates will enjoy learning and not have to be tired every day because we are testing so much. I pray that my teacher will not be stressed out from all the testing, but that she gets to enjoy teaching her students. Also, I need to try my best to be caught up in my learning so I can push myself to be better. In conclusion, I do not like how much we have to test so often and not get to learn and grow as much in our education. I am going to take these actions I have written about to help myself, my peers, and my teacher in this situation.
Thank you, Anna. That was well done. I'd like to introduce our 7th place winner in the 7th to 9 division, grade 8 from Wheatley. His teacher is Ms. Monica Jones Martinez. I'd like to introduce Nathan Miner. Yeah, right into it, Nathan. I'm gonna do this. Okay.
Good morning. Big crowd. We've all heard of the young black boy who always has a ball, or the young black boy who's walking around with the ghetto with no shirt on. These boys have struggles, and I can tell you because I am one. But I'm different too. I don't have problems with school, or a scholar here. Instead, I have problems at home. Take care of problems at home and don't let them build up on you, or else you will not be your best. People have told me this many times, like it's an easy fix. I truly dislike my house. It sucks, it looks crappy, and we live in a hood. But all in all, it's the way we live that gets me mad. I don't like it there at all. Truly for me, school is like a crutch, a godsend. Temporarily during the week, I go to school to chill and get a break from my life. There, I can be in a peaceful environment where I can learn and where I'm looked up by my peers and respected by my teachers. At home, one of the things that bothers me is how dirty the house is. It stays dirty unless my mother cleans it up, And if my mom does, she's always yelling, telling us, I'm not your maid. I contribute to this house and help more than anyone else. Yet, I don't even get a thank you sign. Instead, I just hear negative things my mom screaming at me out of frustration. I guess doing my chores every day doesn't count towards contributing because I'm a child. So I have to do chores. However, it seems unfair that I'm required to do more than the average teen. Washing every dish that hits the sink, cleaning up every mess that happens in my house, watching 2 baby sisters of mine who just learned to walk, and maintaining a 4.0 GPA. This is crazy. Plus, I have to babysit an annoying 6-year-old boy who doesn't know what to say out his mouth. This just overwhelms me every day. I suppose those are major problems for me, but the one thing that breaks my heart into pieces is whatever I do, my mother doesn't care. It's never enough. I always have to do more and more. Deep down, I believe my own mother doesn't care about me. The only way to solve my problem and change my situation is to get away from my family. As soon as I get a chance to leave my house, I will pack a bag so fast and leave. Sadly, I don't think my mother will notice that I'm gone. If I were to die, she'd not remember the last thing she did was scream or ignore me. That's just the absolute cold truth of my life right now. So the actions I can take to change my world will be serious ones. Yes, I can reach out to my teachers at school and tell them my problems. That will take a lot of courage because people see me as a student of success without problems. Because I'm respectful and motivated, most adults think of me that I have a home that supports me. They think I come from a family that loves me. They don't know how I live. They don't know my mother or my mother's boyfriend. They just assume that I have a good life. I believe in God, so I will not take the cowardly way out and take my own life. In spite of the hurt I experienced at home, I have my own dreams and my goals. I plan to go to an excellent high school, keep my grades up, and go to college. My path will be 100% different from my mother's. If I stay on course and earn a scholarship to college, live on campus, get a job, and have my own family and career one day. In the meantime, I can continue being around positive mentors, people who show me a different life, and people who encourage me to pursue my dreams. For certain, I love my mother and my siblings, and I want a better home and life for all of us. But I can't change my mother. Perhaps someday she'll love me as her son, and perhaps someday we'll get along. But for now, I have to stay focused in school and try to have a great future. When I'm older, I will be able to help my 2 sisters and my mother. I don't plan to forget about them. My being successful will help me and my baby sisters have better opportunities. And maybe will help my mother to be less stressed in her life. At least, I hope it will.
The 6th place winner in the grades 4 to 6 division is from the DC International School, and it is Zainab Ewing Boyd.
The world has become a war zone. On the streets and schools everywhere. There is always injustice in the world, but the main war that is going on in America always has to do with someone's identity. It has to do with their sexuality, race, religion, or immigrant status. I have only been alive for 12 years, but the amount of tragedy that has happened so far is horrifying. I'm constantly hearing about minorities in America being discriminated against. I hear about families being torn apart due to death and families being forced to move apart from one another. Although the problem of racial injustice is great, my role as a 6th grade student is small. By showing what minority students and adults are doing in America, how they are defying stereotypes, showing how others can help change one's perspective and help change the world. There has been a stereotype that minority students are stupid. The stereotype makes even the most intelligent question their intelligence due to the color of their skin or their ethnic background. I have been honored to participate in many Black-run organizations, clubs, and much more. There are 2 organizations that I participate in regularly that defy many stereotypes. One is called Bravo Zulu Chess. a program full of children of color in DC. They have won many citywide, region-wide, and championships and is one of the best teams in the region. I think that this is one way we can defy stereotypes. I think you have to find something you're good at and show people that you can do it and not be okay with average, because if you go and succeed with what you do, the idea of your community and what you are representing will change dramatically. Although that will take time, and is one thing that people can do and work towards, there's always something that you can do to make the world a better place. The world and the area we live in is constantly faced with prejudice. This prejudice is so deeply embedded in America that even the justice system, those who keep us safe, are some of the ones who endanger us. We focus so much on the things that are just drama and hate when we should try our best to help the world heal. If we truly want the world to be a better place, we need to work towards it. One thing that we can all do is not judge a book by its cover.
Hi. I have the honor of introducing our sixth place winner in grades 7 to 9 division, Tanaya Gaddis from grade 8, Wheatley. Her teacher is Mrs. Monica Jones Martinez.
Good morning. Leaving my mother. Most people would think when a child is born, they would be cared for and taken care of as children should be. But some are treated differently. When I was only 8 years old, I realized that my mother could not completely take care of me. And I had to grow up faster because my mother would tell me she loved me during the day, but when night fell into place, it was the opposite. If I could change anything in my life, it would be having to grow up faster than expected and having to learn certain things as well as adults. Also, if I had extraordinary powers to have stopped the hurtful things that would happen to me, I would. They did happen though. Even though I prayed and tried to stay hopeful, most of this occurred when my mother would go on her drinking binges. As an alcoholic, she would yell at and cry to me, and I couldn't do anything about it. If I did something wrong, she would get to a point where she would really hurt me physically and mentally. Basic things were not provided, like food and clothing. Sometimes I had to dig in bins outside to find scraps of food, and no one knew because my mother was knocked out somewhere. Can you picture a little 8-year-old child searching at night for something to fill her belly? Well, I was that child. Out of everything that I experienced, the event that stays in my mind happened 6 years ago, right before I was taken from my mother. We were living in New Jersey, and I was doing the cooking and cleaning. For some strange reason, my mother never liked how I did things, even though I was just a little girl. One day, she was so upset with me that she pinned me to the ground and tried to suffocate me while choking me. I lay on the ground motionless, waiting for her to stop. She told me I was a worthless mistake and that she hated me. By the time it was over, I was barely breathing. And my mother who had just tried to take my life, was telling me that she loved me. I remember feeling so angry and worthless, just like what she'd called me. So I locked myself in my room for 3 days, and no one knew where I was. Fortunately, a social worker called my grandmother in Washington, D.C. and told her that I had missed more than 3 days of school. They sent child protection services to our apartment and took me away to a foster home where I was treated just as poorly. That family teased and criticized me constantly, but my grandmother gave me hope. I called and told her everything that was going on in my foster home. My grandmother fought for me, and finally I was placed in her care. Now I have been happy and loved by her and our family for 4 years. So no, I would not change anything about my past. Had those horrible things not happened then, I would not have the happiest days of my life today. One thing I would change is the relationship I have with my mother. I'm not done. After I was taken from mother, she was absent from my life for a few years. Eventually, I got in contact with her and cleared some uneasy feelings, which helped me deal with the questions I had wanted answered, and now she's also a part of my life. I'm taking things slowly, trying to rebuild our trust again. I'm calling her and expressing my thoughts. I even share things things with her that I'm experiencing as a teen, like my first crushing relationship. In the future, I hope my mother and I can become close again. Truly, I don't want to leave my grandmother's house and live with my mother. I just want us to have a loving bond and share mother-daughter things as we should. It may take years to repair our relationship. It's taken many years in therapy for me to heal by myself, so I don't want to rush things. We're trying and we'll be close someday. Forgiveness is important, and I'm forgiving my mother for all the pain she caused me. It may help her to forgive herself. Thank you.
The fifth place winner in the grades 4 to 6 division is from Alice Deal Middle School. Please welcome to the stage Nathaniel Weigman.
Good morning. When I look around the cafeteria, I see 4 sections divided by race. There are the Hearst, Shepherd, and John Eaton kids, mostly African American. There are the Janney, Lafayette, and Murch, and the rest of John Eaton kids, white. Then I see the Bancroft kids, Latino and Latina mostly. Finally, I see the smallest group of kids, the mix of kids. Even though there are no racial problems at Alice Deal Middle School, it is somewhat segregated. Deal students do come from many backgrounds, but in our lunchrooms that is not as clear. I want to make Deal a less racially divided school. The problem is our school is partly racially divided. People are friends with the people of the same race. Kids should not be sitting at the same lunch table as all other students of the same race. Students at Deal do have classes with all different people, but that does not mean they are best of friends or even friends with them. Kids are mostly friends with people they know best. Most elementary schools are racially divided. When kid comes to Deal, they do not adjust totally to the situation and mostly stay friends with the same people. Sports are a great example. There are 3 main sports: basketball, soccer, and football. Whites dominate soccer, blacks dominate basketball and football. There are still blacks that play football and blacks that play soccer, and whites that play football and basketball. But like the lunchrooms, it is mostly one race dominated. In order to address this problem, I could ever so often sit at a new table or make a new friend. I could also suggest to other students that they do the same. This would solve problems because it would encourage kids to make new friends, and therefore students would most likely make more friends with people of other races. This solution would not only help our school be less racially divided, it would help kids make more friends. This way, all students at our school will become more connected. Connection is important at the national level too. The United States has made enormous progress in improving our race relations. It used to be that blacks and whites were not allowed to go to the same school. Now they can, but I think students at Deal should take integration one step further. Today in our country, there are still big problems with racism. For example, in some places, white police officers are targeting blacks. We need to stop the problems early and unite, not fight each other. Working together to make diverse friends at school would be a great first step.
I'd like to now introduce our 5th place winner in the grade 7 to 9 division from grade 8 Harding Middle School with Miss Felicia Messina Tehady as her teacher. This is Jade Gregoire.
I've changed a lot since I've entered middle school. Back in elementary, when I was alone, I wanted things to be different. I was shy and very soft-hearted. When I look back, I see someone so close to my current version of perfect. Now, I want things to change back, at least partly. Change upsets me in general, yet it is that I also just miss how good I felt being me. I used to compliment so many people every day. Now, I feel as if I rarely ever pass out a nice phrase. It's probably that I just don't notice when I do, but I know that I don't compliment people half as much as I used to. I used to help out people way more often, and maybe it's because I have less time on my hands now, but I'm sure I've grown more selfish. And now I selfishly want to be selfless again. I'd also like to stop being sarcastic. One of my closest friends is very sarcastic, and she's slightly rubbed off on me. When I'm tired or get irritated, I sometimes let a rude, sarcastic comment slip out, and it might hurt someone's feelings. There are pretty simple solutions to this, but it's hard to break habits. Every day I could compliment at least 3 people. I could then raise that number to 5 and then maybe 10. This would make me feel so much better, revive an old part of me. I ache when I think of how I used to go out of my way to make sure everyone was comfortable and happy. I might not have had friends since I was so quiet, but it also made me appreciate kindness when it was given to me. Having friends for 3 years straight made me slowly lose appreciation for how rare and precious kindness was. I've become, at least in my opinion, ruder, and I don't think before I say as much as I used to. Giving compliments out every day would also make people around me happier. Compliments make people feel good about themselves, give them confidence in who they are. Lately, most of my friends and I have been down because of all the homework, projects, high school interviews, and tests. Making my friends happy makes me happy. Seeing a smile on a stranger's face would also light up my day, since smiles from unknown people are harder to come by. Stopping myself from saying sarcastic comments would prevent me from accidentally harming one of my friends' feelings. Not saying sarcastic comments would also stop my friends from noticing I'm in a bad mood in the first place, which will prevent them from getting into a bad mood as well. Moods rebuff on people around you, whether they are positive or negative. Even though it's selfish, I really want myself to revert back to how I was, to be selfless again. It might make no sense to anyone else, but my greatest happiness comes from making others joyous. I feel like I've been lacking in my miniature job to support others, and I feel a pulling hole in my heart where human wants have started to grow. I know it's good to think about yourself sometimes, but I hate wanting things. The only thing I really want is to have other people happy.
The next place winner is in the 4 to 6 division, grade 5, at DC Prep Edgewood campus. Her teacher is Miss Adriana Antunez, and her name is Winta Brahani.
One day, during lunch, I was peacefully trying to eat the spaghetti that my mom had packed. It included pasta, tomato sauce, onions, and green peppers. It was warm and smelled really good. The next thing I knew, Elizabeth, a girl who often rolled her eyes at me during recess, sat down right next to me. I didn't really mind since she didn't pay any attention to me at first. "Your spaghetti doesn't even look like spaghetti," Elizabeth said. I didn't understand why she would say that. Maybe she was picking on me because of my heritage. I was born in the United States, but my family is Eritrean. People sometimes pick on immigrants because of their appearance and their accents. My mom has an accent, but I don't. But perhaps other people around me know that I come from an immigrant family. Another day as science class was ending, my classmates and I were putting our materials on the back table. Elizabeth happened to put hers next to mine. "Your hair looks nappy." The night before, my mom braided my hair into 2 long braids that hung down my back. I thought my hair looked fine, but according to Elizabeth, it looked strange. Elizabeth's comments didn't make sense. It didn't even look like she combed her hair. But I would never say that to anyone, because that would be rude. I felt insulted. I didn't talk or look at Elizabeth for the rest of the day because I didn't want to get into conflict with her. Part of me wishes that I told her how I felt. My mother once told me that bullying could be hard on kids and they might not want to attend school. People might even want to die. Schools should be safe places where students are free to learn. Although many schools probably have rules against bullying, people still pick on others. Principals should make a rule against bullying that leads to bad consequences. Kids like me need to do our part too. If you see a person being bullied, you should tell the victim to tell an adult. You should also encourage the victim to stand up for himself or herself. If the victim is unwilling, you should tell the bully to stop. I didn't like how it felt when Elizabeth picked on me, so I would definitely stand up for another person. If bullying happens in this generation, it will continue throughout history. That's probably how wars start. Fortunately, Elizabeth and I were placed right next to each other in class. We talked to each other and found out that we had many similarities. That day, we became friends.
Well, I think Winta's given us all a lesson about how to deal when people don't treat us well. Make friends. Our next speaker will be Ayana McKellen. And Ayana is the 4th place winner in the grade 7 to 9 division. And she's in grade 7, and she's at Brookland Middle School. And her teacher is Miss Chandrina Walker. So welcome, Ayana.
I am in a world by myself. As I was thinking about what would be the perfect topic to write about to win this competition, I decided to change the way I was thinking. I realized it would be best for me to write about something that touches my heart. Only one thing continued popping in my small head: my lovely mother, Rena Davis. My mother is suffering from multiple sclerosis. As you read my essay, I will discuss exactly what multiple sclerosis is, as well as discover how I am able to make the situation better for not just my mommy, for me as well. My mother, the first of her siblings to have the privilege to attend an out-of-state university, was away from home at Virginia State University in Petersburg, Virginia. When she was coming from a college party, as she was crossing the street to get back to campus, she fell in the street and thought something in her leg was torn. It was not until her doctor had her take an MRI, where she learned that she had MS. My mommy at first did not know what that was or how it would impact her life, but she will soon learn. After 3 months of finding out about her diagnosis, she found out she was pregnant with me. My mother was scared about both situations and questioned herself on how she could raise a child while having MS. When a woman diagnosed with MS is pregnant, their pregnancy hormones help them to maintain certain vital things needed for the health of the baby and mom. She could not take any medication while being pregnant. That did not stop her from continuing to take her medicine for MS rebirth. Once my grandmother found out she was still taking her medicine, she made my mother stop. Once she stopped, she did not have any more symptoms, and she was fine for the remaining of her pregnancy. On February 25th, 2004, my mother had a beautiful and healthy baby girl, Ayana Janae. I lived a very normal life until realizing my mother was different from other mommies. When I was a toddler, I remember seeing my mother in the bathroom injecting something in her stomach. Once she finished, I asked her, "What is that?" She sat me down and explained to me why she had to give herself medicine and what she suffered from. After that, she allowed me to assist her with administrating her medicine. As I started getting older, I noticed my mother was not doing as much, and we were not doing our normal mother and daughter journeys. It hurt at first because I did not understand why. My mother tried her best to continue those things we once used to do together. One day, my mother told me to research MS. I looked up her illness and I read until it made me mad. About 2.3 million people are diagnosed with this nervous system complication. My mother is a part of this large number of cases. There is no cure for MS, and there are 4 different types of disease cured by MS. The course is relapsing remitting MS, RRMS, secondary progressive MS, SPMS, primary progressive MS, and progressive relapsing MS. Out of the 4, my mother has experienced 2, RRMS and SPMS. She right now is going through having the SPMS, and she about to start a new medication, which will treat her types of MS. I was born in a situation that I knew nothing about, but I love my mother, and I'm going to find a way to create a cure for her MS. Before I do that, I'm going to educate myself on MS and get involved. Last year, for the first time, we participated in the MS Society Walk. We joined a family friend team called She Knows. It was the first time I saw multiple people who were living with the illness multiple sclerosis. This is one way I'm trying to change or get through the situation. I love the walk. Last year, and seeing the joy on my mother's face made me so happy. So I suggested sign up for 2017 DC MS Walk. I'm still learning about the illness and helping my mother with her walking if she needs my assistance. My end goal is find a cure for multiple sclerosis. I would like to make the cure for everyone that is suffering from any symptoms. The cure, I imagine, will be an oral pill from having pregnancy hormones formed from non-MS pregnant women. This pill will be available to all MS patients. It took some time, but as I have got older, I realized I cannot change my situation of having a mother living with multiple sclerosis. However, one thing I can always do is support her and be helpful as much as possible I can. I want to find out or create the cure before my mother's condition gets worse. Would I change my situation? No, but I will spread the word of MS to bring awareness. I can become a young advocate for multiple sclerosis. I love you, Mom.
Next, I'd like to introduce the 3rd place winner in the grade 4 to 6 division. He's in the 4th grade at Eaton Elementary. His teacher is Mrs. Mary Clayman, Amar Johnson.
When I go to the grocery store on Connecticut Avenue, I've noticed a lot of homeless people. I noticed that they're in a troublesome situation.
I know they need food, and I would like their circumstances to be different and for them not to be hungry. I really like adventure books. I've read all of the Harry Potter books and many books by Rick Riordan. One small thing that I could do on a consistent basis to help the homeless in my neighborhood is to give each person a book recommendation, and a sandwich. The book and the book recommendation would be food for the mind to help them take their minds off their difficulties. The sandwich would help them feel less hungry. I would want to do this because usually most homeless people that I see look like they are barely surviving on scraps of food and may not usually get a note of encouragement or a book suggestion. To do this, I would buy ingredients from the market and then make sandwiches each Saturday. I would put a note on the sandwich bag giving a recommendation for a book from the neighborhood library and my personal rating of the book. If I have a copy of a book, I would also give them that. The note would give encouragement like, I hope this book makes you laugh, or you can make it through this difficult time. The next week, I would bring another sandwich, a book, and a book recommendation. That would give them the food they need, and hopefully they can have fun reading. In conclusion, helping the homeless in my neighborhood by giving food, a book, and book recommendations would make me feel happy and hopefully make them feel happy too. They'd also have a better experience with people. I want that because sometimes they're sad or angry, and I can understand that. Finally, they would have good food to eat, and I would share something that is very special to me, the joy of reading.
What a notion. Not just to feed the body, but also to feed the mind and the soul. Thank you. Our next speaker will be Alethea Bennett, and she's getting the third place, winning, and she's in the grade 7 to 9 division. She's actually in grade 8, and at LaSalle Bacchus Education Campus. Mr. Paul Hancock is her teacher. So come on up, Alethea.
You should never view your challenges as disadvantages. Instead, it's important for you to understand that your experience facing and overcoming adversity is actually one of your biggest advantages. Michelle Obama. I have faced a lot of adversities in my life, and I know I can make many of them better. The reality that I can turn something from a negative into a positive makes me feel empowered and better about my situation in life. One thing that has challenged me admittedly, especially since starting school, is that I have dyslexia, a learning disorder that affects my reading and writing. I mix up my letters along, and it's a difficult task when I am asked to read. When I first heard I was diagnosed with dyslexia at the end of my 5th grade year, I wanted to know, why am I labeled this? It made me think, why am I the only kid that has this problem at my school? Dyslexia has created a lot of extra problems for me and makes it more challenging to learn. It's very hard. It's never really been easy for me to read and write, no matter how hard I've tried. And many times I was laughed at and ridiculed. During my early elementary school years, I was teased for not being able to read and write as well as the others. I was taken out of class for daily reading sessions because my mom wanted me to read better. I had many years trying to learn how to read well. I was often frustrated because I did not see any results of my extra work quickly. I knew I had to try more on my own because I learned better by myself. Despite all the negative issues I have endured, the learning disorder has been a blessing in a way because it made me work harder for the things I wanted to honor and I could achieve. It made me want to read as well as the other kids around me who didn't have the same disability as me. Also, it raised my consciousness about people who have much worse predicaments than I do. And I can relate and defend anyone with a learning disorder. Dyslexia still affects me today, but I try my best to power through it. Using the tools that I have developed along the way of my struggle, dyslexia is not the easiest disability to overcome. One thing I will do more is reading complex books that are above my grade level. I want to do this because it will help me become a better reader and improve my comprehension. Also, by pushing myself now, it will be better for high school textbooks and other stuff I will read in the future. Reading at least one book per month that is above my grade level will prevent me from giving up easily and continue to push through difficult tasks. I do not take the reading and writing skills I have gained for granted. I will always have to work harder than others around me. Reading more can make me feel better and extend my reading goals I have. In the future, a large step I plan to take is to write a book. This goal I have set for reading can help me pursue my dream. I would like to read just like my mom because she's a fantastic reader, and someday I hope to be just like her. My mother is also my role model and helps me through tough times. In my book, I will include my story and how I overcame my reading disability so that I can help students realize that they are not alone.
Our next speaker is the second place winner in the 4 to 6 division. He's in grade 5, or she's in grade 5, I'm sorry, at Whittier Education Campus. Her teacher is Miss Elenia Wood, Antoinette John Batiste.
The situation in my life I would change is the opportunity to be able to have more quality time with my father. This is very important to me. As a 10-year-old girl, I miss him every day. Speaking to him on a regular day basis is just not enough. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't love spending time with my mother. I just wish that they were still together. That way, I'll be able to spend quality time with both of them. When I was in the first grade, I didn't get to see my father as much as I wanted to. One day, he surprised me by coming to my school. I was so excited to see him, I could barely hold my That summer, my dad took me out for ice cream and to a nearby playground to have some much needed father and daughter quality time. As years went by, the time I spent with my father became less frequent, because being able to see him regularly was not a piece of cake. That's when the light bulb turned on my head. I realized my parents were arguing. Even though my parents' relationships were one another was a little shaky, I kept hope that one day things would get better. That's when I decided to be the bigger person and meditate for both of my parents. Here's an example of what I did to make my father and my mother get along. Every time my father took me out to eat, I would suggest he bring something extra for my mom. This allowed my mom to feel appreciated. This would, in turn, allow my father to spend extra time with me. As I continued to be so-called referee, things began to look brighter. I began to see my father on a daily basis. As a child, I will continue to be positive force between my mother and father. I will continue encouraging my father to bring my mom food, to call and check on her and any other small suggestions that make life more peaceful. If I continue to do this, it will see a major change for my family and myself. I chose this topic because when I began to witness my parents get along, I naturally became more confident in myself. I also developed a better attitude towards life. My grade improved in school, my self-esteem increased, my life feels so blessed. The moral of my story is when you have a positive relationship with both of your parents, your life is just that much better. I was determined to change the situation with my dad. I love both of my parents, and even they aren't together, I know the sky is the limit because they are both in the corner cheering me on.
Young lady. Wow, very clever. Thank you. So, our second place winner in the grades 7 to 9 division is Muriel Skolnick. She's in the hospital, here to read her essay as a classmate from, I'm assuming you are in Felicia Messina Hades' class. That's the wonderful teacher. Here to read Muriel's essay is Luis Sargarita Visconti.
Once words or action are released, they can never be taken back. I learned that harshly and consequently. Towards my mother, I was very mean. I would tell her, "You're not my mom, leave me alone," or something like, "I hate you, just go die." Along with what I said, I would use my fighting skills to tell her how much I did not appreciate her in that specific moment in time, which literally seemed like forever. It's that feeling when someone in your life who has known you, lived with, and loved you ever since the day you first cried, has said or did something that frustrates you. Some people know what is right and what is wrong. Others, like me, most teenagers, think the only way to react is violence. Whether it is words, actions, texts, or posts, are all harmful. None can be taken lightly. I wasn't in the mood to go to school that Monday. "No one is making me, I'm not going," I yelled to my mom. I was already 20 minutes late to school. I didn't care. I shot a text to my boyfriend saying, "Good morning," with a heart emoji next to it. I smiled. I heard footsteps fast and loud. Suddenly I lost Wi-Fi connection. "Hey, what did you do to the Wi-Fi?" I yelled. I rushed to the Wi-Fi to check if it was down. "Nothing, I just took the cord," she said. I dashed after her as she hopped into her car and locked the doors. I jumped onto the front window of her car and started pounding on the window. She dialed 911. I jumped off the car immediately. I rushed upstairs to get out my anger. I opened the window and smashed the screen out. I screamed, "I hate you, just go die." I cried, reached for a knife in the cabinet downstairs and threw it at a wall along with chairs and other stuff. I walked into the living room and saw a policeman walking up the steps. I ran upstairs into my room scared, crying, and hid underneath the bed. I closed my eyes as the police officer called my name. They soon found me and tried forcing me to come out. Suddenly a woman's voice came saying, "I'll deal with this." She plopped down beside my bed and calmed me down. We soon became friends. We drove to the emergency room at Children's Hospital. This sector of the hospital was creepy with kids banging on the walls and screaming. All I wanted to do was go home. I was admitted that night for 4 days. I cried so hard that night, missing my boyfriend and wanting to be home again. The food tasted terrible. The kids totally scared me and I was ice cold with no electronic usage allowed. At the hospital, we learned coping skills and ways to deal with anger. It really helped us out. My mom came to visit me every day. I had never missed her more. I heard some consequences and got angry on the second night she visited. I began to realize that maybe consequences were bad, but I could live through it and be well behaved. I returned from the hospital just hours ago and I'm sitting typing my thoughts. That's a coping skill. I learned a lot this week and I hope never to repeat those actions or say those words ever again in my lifetime. Remember, write out your thoughts. Don't say or fight them out. Another coping skill is finding a trusted adult to talk to, someone who can have your back at any time. Listening to music always helps get your feelings out. It creates your own world. Lastly, a good cry is a great coping skill that people use every day, wherever they are. But just keep in mind to make sure not to unleash your emotions through harmful words or actions. Once words or actions are released, they can never be taken back. Think twice before you act.
Fanny is from Scotland. In Italy, he speaks wonderful Italian. Please, give Mariel the best wishes, beautiful healing, and a wonderful life from the whole room, okay? Thank you. Our first place winner in the grades 4 to 6 division goes to Eaton Elementary and is taught by Ms. Mary Clayman. I'd like to introduce Grace Thornton.
Bobby and I don't get along. He's not the nicest of dragons. He makes me uncomfortable and he makes me do things I don't want to do and think disturbing things. But I can't get rid of him because he's part of me and I can't change that. This is the story of Bobby and me, but it's also the story of lots of other children, and I hope it helps them take back control of their minds. This is the story of us. I probably left you completely confused. We all know dragons are fantasy. Bobby is not a real dragon. He represents obsessive-compulsive disorder, also known as OCD. This is about my life with Bobby and with OCD, which is a form of anxiety. Bobby is the voice in my mind that makes me do things over and over. He tells me that if I look at someone and swallow, a bullet would hit that person. This sometimes restricts me from looking at people because Bobby tells me they would get hurt. I also move a certain way so that my body feels even on the left and right side. When we realized I might have OCD, my mom got me a great book, The Anxiety Cure for Kids. It suggested I picture the voice that tells me disturbing things as a dragon. This really helps because before the voice was a dark and shadowy figure in my mind, which made it evil and scary. If you think you have OCD, I suggest trying this. Another thing you can try is giving your dragon a nice or fun name. Imagine if you named your dragon Voldemort. What type of dragon would that be? Happy and funny or dark and evil? Now you can understand why I call my dragon Bobby. It's hard to be scared of someone with that name. Another thing that works is telling Bobby out loud not to do these things. When I'm done, I visualize him flying into the cave that I picture as his home. Then I pretend to use the Force from Star Wars to lock him in, and I forget about what he was trying to make me do. I also do things that don't involve Bobby that make me feel good about myself, including yoga, singing, playing piano, and playing soccer with my team. Living with OCD is not just a week's work. I have to ignore Bobby every day, but even though I have this disorder, and other kids do too, remember that you can tame your dragon so that he doesn't make you feel uncomfortable, because nothing should stop you from being yourself.
Awesome essay, yes? So, we have our first place winner in grades 7 to 9. Her essay was first written in Spanish. She's been in the country, she came in 2016. She came from El Salvador. She's going to read her essay in English, and she's been practicing. So please help me welcome to the stage Joanna Acosta Gonzalez. She's in grade 8, Whitney Elementary Education Campus. Miss Abby Smith and Signor Nelson are her teachers. Here she is. Let's see, I want to make sure.
Good morning. Something I want to change. In my life, there is something I want to change. I want to be in better communication with my father and bring him here so he can be with me. I want this because now my father is far away and I lived with him all my life. When I moved to Washington, D.C. with my little sister to live with my mother in 2016, I left him behind in El Salvador. I do not feel good about this separation because I am used to live with him and enjoying a good father-daughter relationship. Now that I live so far away, it is hard to talk with him because I am studying all the time and I had very little time to talk with him. After I arrived here, I learned that my father suffered from very serious illness. His doctors had told him that his kidneys are badly damaged and there is no cure. The news destroyed my life. No one can imagine how I feel. Me here, him there. My grandmother and I are the only ones he can rely on for. He cannot work because he cannot move his feet. And now that I am far away, he cannot rely on me. I want to do something to improve the situation, even though my options are limited. One simple thing that I can do is to make sure I talk with him every day so that he knows I have not forgotten him nor support loving in although we are apart. I want him to know that I still need him in my life. Another thing I can do is to save money and do whatever I can to something they bring him here to live with me and get better. I hope that once he is here we can find some treatment that will save his kidneys. I chose this action because my father is a very important person in my life. How has always supported me the best he can. I have faith that if talk with me every day, showing him my love, encouraging him to stay strong and never give up, supporting him in every way I can will someday see him again. The result is to be able to communicate more with my father and build a stronger father-daughter relationship to sustain him through his health struggles. I also want to save or raise the money I need to bring him here without problems. My greatest dream is for us all to be together again, like the family we once were. I cannot give up. Hope that with God's help I help my father heal his kidneys and continue living good. Hope him to be with me and my sister again so we can take care of him and so he will count for nothing.
So I opened this process today. I said that I had been married 40 years and 30 of them I'd spent with my wife in doing things like this. I have grown immeasurably because of things like this. Children, your wisdom is wonderful, but touches me even more and is your heart. And I have a wish that all of you go out into the world and find places where your hearts can sing and you can make a difference in this world that reflects the beauty of who you are. So, dear students, I'm writing to offer my congratulations. I understand that a key factor in this year's competition was articulating the theme A Better World Begins with Each of Us. As I read your essays, I was filled with hope. Your stories revealed that you are contributing to the good in the world by the way you are choosing to live your lives. Of particular note is the wisdom and creativity reflected in your writing. Well done. So this gentleman has a new movie coming out in July. It's called An Inconvenient Sequel, Truth to Power. This is from Al Gore. This gentleman lends the essence to the global quality of our name, and he supported us for years with these personal notes. And it's Dear Young Stars, my warmest congratulations to all of you being honored today on your achievement. I commend you on your hard work and determination to find solutions to situations you want to be different in your life. This is a challenging and worthy topic. You can strive to make a world that cares, that shares, a world where everyone is included. There are no outsiders. Everyone is an insider. This is the world that God dreams of too, a world of laughter, love, and peace. I have confidence that all of you will be helping God to realize this dream. God bless you, Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu. I'd like to ask Dorothea to come back up and continue on with the ceremony.
Let's see. One thing that I want to do is, I'm looking out there. I know we have one determining judge in the room. Marty Davis, would you stand? I don't know, is David Martin here? Thank you, Marty, for being here. Thank you for your contribution. And also, I'd like to recognize Susan Stafford. Would you stand? Thank you. Susan is the one year after year that has donated delicious cakes, and they're in the back, so thank you, and I wanted to acknowledge them. We're going to begin the second part of our inspiring program, and we are going to acknowledge the honorable mentions. And we think so much, an excerpt of their essays are going to be read. And we think so much of the wisdom of these students that what we do is call these excerpts pearls of wisdom. The excerpts are going to be read by two volunteers, Jessica Trimble and Kathy Carroll, both of whom are assistants that this wouldn't happen without them. So thank you for reading, and you can actually come up on stage, you two, now. And my husband Jim is going to be handing out the honorable mention awards, and he's going to be in the center of the room. So honorable mentions, listen up, okay? You're going to be called in alphabetical order. You will walk to Jim, receive your award, and then on the steps, you see these steps around the stage? You stand around the steps. If we do have some younger and shorter ones, so if you want to stand in front of the first step, you can do that. If you're a tall person and you notice a short person gets behind you, then move over and look out for each other the way you usually do in life. This is time you can look out, because we want everyone to be seen. You're special. We want to see you and recognize you. So let's see. We're ready to begin. So Kathy, you're going first?
Yeah.
Great.
Ahmed is a 9th grade student at McKinley Tech High School. He shared, I moved to the United States in 2014. I don't see much of the culture that I grew up around, which is the Saudi culture, the food, the people, and the language. I mostly miss talking with a friend in Arabic. To make myself feel better, I teach my friend a little bit of Arabic. They get to learn a new language, and I get to communicate with them using the language I love. Erlina Barisha, Erlina is a 5th grade student at Capital City Public Charter, and this is what she wrote. I continue to confront the bullies. I'm still being bullied, but I remind myself that I am amazing and worthy. A way I can work on stopping the issue is by creating posters, making videos, writing speeches, etc. I feel as though no one should be bullied. Why insult someone and create a bad day when we can give each other compliments and create a happy community? Alexandria Anaya Brown is a 7th grade student at KIPP DC Northeast Academy. And this is what she said. Breaking the chain of silence is my stance on how these young black and brown girls can be found. One small action that I can do on a consistent basis to help bring missing girls back home is to use my voice and writing skills to design positive memes on social media. As a 12-year-old girl who is the same age as the girls getting kidnapped, I want to feel safe and put an end to the kidnapping. Daniela Siccioni is an 8th grade student at Hardy Middle School, and she wrote, there's one problem I have with this school. They all stereotype one another. For example, not all black people like watermelon and not all Hispanics are from Mexico. Another child at school said, all white people and cops are bad. This really hurt me because I'm white myself. One day my brother came home from school and asked my mother, Mommy, why can't my skin be brown like my friends? I want everyone to feel proud of who they are. Destiny Coleman is in the 5th grade at Whittier Education Campus. She shared, I don't have my father in my life. What did I ever do as a child to make him not want to be around me as much as I want to be around him and my brothers? I know that my dad loves me. I just wish he did a better job with showing me that. Although it is hard for me as a child to change the actions of an adult, I will keep calling, keep texting, and keep hoping that one day my dad will come and see me. Devon Krike is a 4th grade student at Barnard Elementary. He expressed, an action I would take on a consistent basis is to think before I say things. It will help me understand that some things should just stay to yourself. Also, it might make it better for my family, teachers, and others. The outcome I want is that I will learn how to control my mouth so that in the future I will not get into trouble. It will set an example for other students and people. Hazel Cross is a 4th grade student at Inspired Teaching School, and she shared, there are not a lot of black females on screen. I personally feel excluded because it's harder to find a movie that represents me. What I could do is to have my Black Girl Club write letters weekly to different casting directors to explain how we do not like this problem. Reaching out and communicating how you feel is always best. They could realize that they do need black females. Fatima Diallo is a 9th grade student at McKinley Technology High School. This is what she wrote. As a female teenager, I have been struggling with my appearance. People always shame each other so they can feel better about themselves. Loving yourself and your body is something that we all need to learn how to do, even though it took me a while to understand that everyone is different and unique, and I had to learn how to love, appreciate, and accept my body. Tessa Furlow is in the 6th grade at Alice Deal Middle School. She shares, I wish that I was not as shy. I really like acting, but I get nervous whenever I want to try out for something. To get over my stage fright, I will practice making a speech or performing something in front of my parents. Recently, I gave a presentation to my Girl Scout troop. I'd like to make a virtual reality stage fright app that would allow you to stand in front of a scary audience where you give a speech or perform. I can do it with my phone every day to overcome my fears. Drew Heaven is in the 8th grade at Hardy Middle School. He shared, my older brothers have the sickle cell disease. Recently, my oldest brother, Wayne, passed away because he had sickle cell anemia. Seeing my brother pass and seeing my mom mourning is one of the worst things I've ever experienced. Since I can't do anything to prevent this disease, I will try to make my brother Arian's life better. I will be there for him when he needs me. I will make sure I don't take for granted the time I have with him. Linnea Lejeune is a 6th grade student, and her name means lion in Swedish. She expressed, while fighting isn't the best way to resolve our conflicts, the arguments I have had with my brothers have taught me many things. While I learned debate in school, my brothers taught me that you need to have a convincing evidence and an interesting argument. I have learned these skills for when I have wanted something in my brother's possession, and I need to convince him to let me have it. I believe that if I have conversations with my brothers, I can continue to learn new skills and avoid fighting.
Felipe Limos is a 4th grade student at Bancroft Elementary. He wrote, one issue I am interested in is global warming. Because as a child, playing outside is one of my favorite things to do. I often wonder how one person and a 10-year-old can make a difference to make sure other children experience the joy I experienced. I decided I was going to grow different plants in my apartment. The plants would suck in carbon dioxide. This would help humans and the weather. Amani Nesbitt in the 4th grade at Whittier Education Campus shared, when people bully me, I sometimes feel like I don't belong or I think they are right. Being from Jamaica, I like to eat dumplings and ackee with corned beef. Lots of kids bully me because I don't always eat pizza, spaghetti, or fish sticks. I will always treat people the way I want to be treated. I want to change the fact that I get bullied. The only way I can change that is to continue being me. Rose Nagatra is a 9th grade student at DC International School and was the second place winner in the older division in 2016. She shared, there have been people who told me that they believe in me, but I don't think that I can believe them before I believe in myself. It all starts from within. If I want to be happier, I have to let go of all the bad thoughts I think, as well as negative energy from others. I have to know that I can amount to anything I want, but it takes work, dedication, and perseverance to get there. I may be at a low point now, but I will triumph. Attends the 6th grade at Alice Deal and wrote, one small action I could do on a daily basis is recycling and picking up any trash I see. This helps water and land pollution. Recycling plastic especially will help a lot. At least 100,000 mammals and birds die from plastic each year. Picking up trash can decrease the amount of contaminated habitats. If everyone does it, they do something really big. We can all help. Our animals, our world, our surroundings, nature, and friends. Kamaya Alumba is 5th grade at Whittier Education Campus. She shared, "A situation in my life that I want to be different is not really seeing my mom because she goes to school. I am proud of her and I will always love her for the sacrifices she is making for us. I know my mom goes to school to make things better for me, my siblings, and herself. Calling her via FaceTime would be the best choice because I can actually see her. I am so happy my mom is graduating in December of 2017. Xavier Robertson is an 8th grade student at Wheatley Education Campus. He revealed, late one night, my father and my mother got into this major fight. There was so much screaming that all 5 of us, my siblings and I, woke up and listened. Eventually, silence took over. When morning came, my mom put my father out of the house. That day, I cried so much it hurt. Ever since then, I have been thinking of all of us being together again. So far, I've made very little progress with getting our parents to reunite, but I will continue trying." Camilla Terraza is in the 7th grade at Alice Deal. She shared, "Andrew and Robert disrupt the class constantly. They're like an annoying mosquito bite that never stops itching. This exemplifies my many long days in Mr. Marta's homeroom. Robert, Andrew, and the others never got any better. I realized that I can't do anything to change them. I can make a positive impact by being the bigger person. Every day, little by little, I begin to deal with and learn from those difficult people in my life." An 8th grade student at School Without Walls at Francis Stevens. She shared, "My situation that I would like to change is my family. We don't speak that much, and we never ask what's going on anymore. I can never have the courage to say anything about it. I want to have a nice chat and laugh with my family. I want them to see me accomplish something wonderful and see me graduate. One small action I would do is to have a meal together. I guess all I have to do is speak up and get their attention on what's bothering me." Terrence Ward attends the 9th grade at McKinley Tech High School. He wrote, "Being late and missing days was just not affecting me, it was affecting the people around me, like my mom, who would be late most of the time because of me. As soon as my mother and I had a talk about the consequences, I immediately had to change because I did not want her to lose her job. Every morning since then, everything went right for the first time in a while." Alexandra Weber is an 8th grade student at Alice Deal. She wrote, "If there was something in my life that I would want to be different, it would be my lack of self-confidence. Being Black does occasionally have its disadvantages, such as kinky hair, huge lips, and oily skin, but being Black also has its advantages. The natural look is in, so curly Black hair is chic instead of shameful. I believe that every race has its challenges. We should all be proud of our backgrounds as well as their inner and outer impacts." Congratulations to the 2017 honorable mentions of the 29th Celebration of Youth Essay Contest.
To the students, I just want to tell you, your honest expression, it's powerful, and it will increase everyone's humanity. And you're going to build kinship and respect in the world through your words and through being who you are. My hope is that you continue to write. Every single one of you is a good writer. And you can make a difference with your words. And maybe you don't feel like that's your calling, but it's always a good skill to have. Good writing skills are important. And you may go around and deliver speeches, or I don't know what you will do, but I do believe that good things are in the future for you, and that who you are is going to make the world better for all of us. So thank you. Before we close, I do want to take a minute to salute the teachers in the room. And here's how I'd like to do that. I would like for every educator, teacher, principal in the room to please stand. Thank you. I know, really, thank you, everybody. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for all the good things you do and all the wisdom you put into the world. If you want to keep in touch with us, I think most of you know how you can find our website. We're on Facebook. We're going to be posting pictures of this event. And you can find us on our website, on Facebook, and you can also get me. I have cards if you want in my pocket. I have some little cards, I think, that I can give if you want my personal email. I would, whether or not we stay in touch, I wish you all the very, very best. And I hope you will stay for the reception following. And I'm going to bring up, to formally close the ceremony, the second place winner from last year. And she returned. It's very rare for a student to return. She returned as an honorable mention this year. We've asked her to read a passage. And it's actually also a part of it is a thank you note that she wrote, and then a passage to close the ceremony. So please help me welcome to the stage Rose Gotchu. And I have the passage here. Oh, okay, you can bring yours. We had 2 copies. She's an amazing young woman. She really is so courageous and determined. So thank you, Rose, for closing it.
Good afternoon. Seeing as this is my last year to participate in this essay contest, because next year I'll be in 10th grade, I would like to thank the Global Harmony Through Personal Excellence organization for the impact they've had on my life. Even though I participated in the essay contest only twice, through the writing prompts, I've been constantly pushed to think critically, reflect on my life and ways to improve it. If it weren't for this contest, I wouldn't have the courage to be here or even to write my truth. It's helped me deal and overcome a lot of obstacles in my life. I want everyone to know how grateful I am to have had the opportunity. I'm going to read a short, slightly paraphrased passage from Neil Rogan, who is a multi-award-winning writer and filmmaker. We are facing challenges no other generation of humans have ever faced. Global climate change, social unrest, deepening inequality, species extinction, and a divided nation. The din of these problems can easily drown out the sound of what's good in the world. But another, more commanding sound is rising now. We can feel it vibrating deeply within our souls. It is in each one. This is the call from the mother of us all. This is the call from life itself. This call comes at a critical moment in human history. It comes as a rallying cry from the heart of nature, inviting each of us to step up and play our part in the great transformation that is occurring on our planet now. All of us are needed. Everyone has an important place. Our role is to accelerate, amplify, and foster the emergence of a new, more inclusive level of human consciousness. Humanity is shifting from a worldview of separation, competition, and indifference to a planet view of interconnection, cooperation, and compassion. It is a recognition that despite the multiplicity of our differences, at the most fundamental level, we are truly one species, indigenous to one planet, with a singular shared commitment to create one common and livable future for our children and the children of all species. The youth of today carry this torch. It is imperative for ourselves and for each other that we do our best. Thank you. This concludes the 29th Celebration of Youth Essay Contest.